that's where it really comes together. But unfortunately for others, being a man child, not taking responsibility, that stuff happens. So let me know if you're ready to put this video up.
Let's get into it, man.
His walk with purpose. So let me give you the backstory. So I don't know if Donnie's still in here, but Donnie was giving him the business in the chat because Eli basically says the same thing. He complains about haters and trolls, and he keeps saying, I apologize for my past behavior. Why don't they just leave me alone? They keep attacking me, they'll attack my girlfriend. This is the same thing. But he's still trying to figure out how can I get out? Because right now I think he's realizing that he's in the gig economy. The community kind of pushed him out. I think he realized that now. He's realizing there's no way I'm able to finesse this group. Too many people know what I did.
Listen, in this community that we're talking about, that we're in, we're hustlers, we're workers. Right. Some of us cry and whine, but we're human. But we can see through bullshit. So that's why it didn't
work. Well, he tried it for a week or two. Then now he's moving on, but he's still stressing. Yeah, but we've all said certain things when we get pushed to the limit, and so this is where it goes back and forth with Donnie kind of typing in the chat. He's reading it in his weird way, walk, and then look over and to see what's happening. So we'll stop it. It's about a 3-minute clip. We'll stop in between. Hey, Joe, let me know if you want me to stop it, whatever.
All right. Let's go. I'm ready for a good laugh.
You hit the nail on the head, and many of you others did as well. My trolls and haters are sending you folks highly edited clips of what they want you to see. But they're not sending you the parts of what it took for me to say what I said. Just like you're not seeing what was done to antagonize Angel to react.
So Angel is, I guess, a friend of his, but he's also apparently, what Donnie said in chat,
is he black? Hold on, is he black? Is Angel black?
I think.
Is Angel a black man?
I don't know if he's black. I think he was in the Robert Reese thing after you left and trying to defend him, defend Eli.
Okay.
Yeah. But apparently, some people said, he's horrible. So he's apparently a horrible person, said some horrible things. Apparently some racist things. I didn't hear it, I didn't see it, but that's where he's kind of defending him, because defending him is defending himself as well.
That way, you have to understand, when something like that happens, it's a two-way street. If you antagonize someone beyond the point of no return, which a lot of people out here on YouTube do that for clicks, sometimes people will flip out. It happens. It's inevitable. It happens. It's just like a volcano. When it builds up enough pressure, it's going to erupt, and lava's going to come out. A human being's the same way. We can only take so much. No matter how strong we are, we can only take our buttons being pushed so much.
Okay.
What?
Okay. I'm trying to understand it, because he's talking about YouTube, right? He's not necessarily talking about real world. We're in the YouTube thing where you express yourself, you express your opinions. So if a black person push his buttons enough, he can't help but lash out and say a bunch of racial slurs. He's not even thinking why would you need to say it? You can call a guy an asshole, and that's still slurs. Call him a bitch. You can still do those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why do you need to call out someone's disability or call out someone's race? I don't understand where he's going with that. You have an idea? I guess he's doing it. If you push me, you bound to snap. But we're talking about YouTube. You're not even talking about on the street where maybe you get into altercation. But even then, if I argue with a white guy, what would I wouldn't necessarily have to go and just say a bunch of racial slurs to him. We could just be doing what two men do, curse each other out.
Yeah.
So why do we need to go with I don't understand that point he's trying to make.
I'm gonna give you my assessment, and we've only known this what do we want to call him? Coach. We've only known Coach for a couple of weeks. Okay, Coach, and he lives at home with his mom, which is whatever. Many cultures are in this country. You take care of your mom, you live together. Nothing wrong with it, but I do have an opinion about that. But that's for a whole nother stream, maybe. I think he has some deep mommy issues. I think that's why he's acts the way he acts, and still at home, and never been married, and has no kids, and looks the way he looks, and talks how he talks, and does what he does, and he's got this fake guru coach about him because he wants to help people, because he just he's missing something, right? But I think the thing about YouTube is he talks about a volcano erupting and everybody erupts. It's okay. You could actually stop streaming. You don't have to stream. So I think Eli is the ultimate victim and he likes it. He plays the victim card. He wants that. He goes and does these StreamYards and these lives and knows the trolls. His first sentence most of the time is, all right, are the trolls here yet? The trolls, I'm going to block the trolls. It's like his persona. It's become his identity to be a victim and for people to not like him and for him to play the victim because he's a weak human being. And I think that, if he was a smarter individual, he would say, well, okay, these people are coming at me. I don't need to do these things. I don't need to feel like this. So I'll stop doing it. And I don't, then you don't need to, the volcano doesn't need to have to erupt, but he wants the volcano to erupt because that is his identity. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at Coach.
Because being a victim is kind of like a security blanket.
Absolutely.
Like you said, his identity, he doesn't know how to handle not dealing with people who are attacked. I mean, he's looking at this as an attack. Right now, he's looking at it as an attack, which is fine. It is what it is, right? We've been attacked. Like, I don't come on and ever complain about any videos made about myself. There's been really nasty videos made about me, made about Pedro.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm going to internalize it. Not everything is meant to be for the internet. Is that accurate? Like if I'm really mad, I can kind of express it in other ways. I don't need to come on here and let's say complain. That I don't need to do that. Like not everything is meant to be. It's not everything that's meant to be on the internet to express, and
not everything's meant to be shared. And that's something that I've struggled with. I sometimes tend to maybe overshare or show my emotion on a video, and sometimes it makes me feel better in the moment, but also it doesn't necessarily mean it's necessary to your point.
Right.
So I think it's a really good point.
There's times when I'm not happy, I'm ranting to some of the people that care about the most. And I'm sure you guys care too, but I just feel like we all have problems. So I don't want to necessarily come in and start showering everyone with my problems. Sometimes it's good to even have these conversations where we're talking about someone else's problems, not worried about ours right now. And maybe we can learn something from this experience. Like I said, with Dash of Life, how Wyatt says there's no accountability. You could try to figure out, okay, what can I do differently? Rather than lash out on a live. If you talk about live stream panels, you can just leave the panel. Oh, this is not working out. F this. Yeah, they may call you a coward and call you names, but whatever. You're not yelling out the N-word, which is worse, I think.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I think Eli stepped into this gig economy space and did some videos, and he would comment on my videos and say things. I think Eli likes me a lot. Eli, if you're watching, I think you really like me.
He don't hate you. He said,
I think my channel is what he wishes his channel would be. I think he wishes he had as many people watching and engagement, and he sees me doing the motivational stuff, and it's way better than his. And I think that there's an underlying jealousy there,
right? But
I think he also likes that because then it allows him to play the victim and pretend and just really act like a child. And he's like a little boy. It's very sad. It's just I don't know. It's funny though. It's entertaining. So we talk about weirdos on YouTube, and we're all weird. That's not like supposed to be a jab at any one individual, right? It's just a word. But I feel like on YouTube, like it's just funny. It's entertainment. I think we have to remind ourselves of that sometimes. Is that this is entertaining, and while at times we might tackle serious subjects and stuff, we want you guys to be entertained. We want you to learn something. We want to and hopefully be entertained and have a sense of community within the chat. And the community that he has been a part of are people that don't like him for the most part. And that has to be really sucky. But because he likes to play the victim, in my opinion, I think that is his identity now. His whole channel is that. And that's sad. It's very sad.
Just a good point talking about his previous community. I think it was called the MGTOW community. Maybe we could talk about that on Monday because Pedro, again, Pedro's still a small baby in this weird. I'm an infant. He does not know anything about MGTOW, which is men going their own way. He already had some comments about it. My wife had some comments about it too. Like these men just can't get no woman. a little more nuanced than that, but I can see why people will come to that conclusion. But if you guys are interested in talking about that with us on Monday, let me know. Talk about the comments.
So I know what that term. I know what that term kind of is, but I haven't really watched content around it. But I know it's like, like men that have felt like they've been wronged or went through a crazy divorce or this or that, or they struggle with women, or they feel they basically get together and bitch and whine and complain instead of actually having actionable things to make their situations better. And those kind of men, to me, I can't be around them. Like that to me is like very victim mentality. And I don't like that kind of, those kind of individuals. So
so we'll go in there. We'll check it out. I think there's there's nuance to everything of why even someone maybe come to that conclusion. But let's finish up a little bit of this video of him.
Before we have to release the tension. It builds up. Well, that shows they are a weak person and will show their true colors. It's not about weakness, Donnie. There's a difference between being weak and being pushed to your limits.
So Donnie's basically letting him know that this is you're not putting any accountability. You're basically saying, yeah, I've said these things, but these guys said something else to me and made me really, really mad, and that's why it went the way. But Donnie's showing true accountability. It is wrong, and you're not even really settling with that. It does not settle well with Eli when he says, no, that's weak. We've all been weak. We all have had moments of weakness. He can't even say that. He can't say it. It bothers him to no end to even have that in his mind. Right? Let me finish, Russ.
Okay. I don't consider Angel to be a weak person, and I'm not a weak person either. But if you push me to my limits, I'm not saying this about you, I'm saying in general, if someone pushes me to my limits, I'm going to snap. So anyone would snap. I'm going to do my best to prevent snapping, but there's only so much. There's a breaking point for everyone has a breaking point, Donnie, no matter how strong they are. The problem is some people that will push people to that breaking point on purpose, especially out here on YouTube, to get clicks and views and subs and super chats and cash apps and PayPals. It's pathetic. What I'm telling you guys here is the absolute truth. When I hear someone say something racist, I'm like, grow the F up and stop living in the past. When you can better yourself on getting to know someone and set a good example to future generations. Stopping the slurs is crossing the line. Stooping to slurs to a person of a certain race. You're right. But Donnie, here's the thing. Have you ever slipped and used a slur in the past by accident? Probably not on YouTube, but in the real world, Donnie, have you ever slipped and used a slur?
Okay. So I'll say this right now, and there's no way I'm sure you guys would never find a video because it doesn't exist. I never slipped up arguing with anyone outside, whether regardless of the race, and just slipped up and just said a bunch of racial slurs. It just never happened to me. Eli does this. Put in a 1 in the chat if you have never used a racial slur. If it ever slipped up, put a 1 in the chat. If you have never, because Eli is saying we all have. But please, put a 1 in the chat if you have never, because I have never.
You know what's funny is he plays the victim when people question him on his bullshit. Yes. Right? So it's actions and things that he's done. And people troll him for that, but then he plays the victim. Whereas you and I, people might lie about us or talk about our women, and we should be able to get mad about that because that's not fair game, right? But people are trolling him and questioning him on things that he did that were bad. That's the difference, Eli. That's the difference there, right?
Yeah.
So these are things that are recorded that you've done or said. So you like to play the victim, bro. And it's so sad.
It is weird because I'm trying to think. Like I couldn't. Most of, at least in my life, when I encountered racism was not necessarily in person. It was online. The first time playing Xbox Live on the old Xbox, that big giant controller, big black thing with the green X in the middle of it. You would go online and you'd be hanging out with your friends or whatever. It's all voice chat. And if they started hearing a certain voice, they'd be like,
hold on.
No, what's up? I would hear people say, "Oh, this sounds like a black guy in here. Sounds like an N-word in here. Let's." And then most of us would be like, "All right, here we go. And it's funny, we never ever went back in the same racist like jokes. We usually just clown them or beat them, beat them in the game. We never went back and forth with, okay, well, this white guy is gonna say something about me being black. I'm gonna retaliate. It never came to that conclusion because we would actually hang out with everybody. It wouldn't just be a group of black people. We all playing a video game. So I don't understand his mentality. But like you said, I think it's he feels. You know what? He may feel bad about this, but it's not enough to show that he's taking accountability.
It's just weird. I'm gonna offer this, and I haven't even asked Hannibal about this, but it is what it is. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I had an idea today, and I was going to do it maybe on the main channel on Sunday, or maybe talk to Hannibal about doing it here. But on YouTube right now, I've been seeing there's obvious, the drama and this and the allegations and the lies and the little stabs and the little jabs at each other and all this. We're talking about each other, but we're not talking. We're talking about each other, but we're not talking with each other.
Right.
So, Coach Eli. The other people that we've talked about, if you want to be a part of the show, you could be a part of the show. We can have a man-to-man roundtable about these things and why do you do what you do. And you got questions for me, I'm an open book. Like, I give no fucks, right? Yeah. So to me, right, those things, those things can happen, right? Because I think while it's entertaining to talk about this and for me to call you a victim and, a LOLCOW and a cuck and all these things, hey, if you want to come on the show, just come on the show, man. But I don't, I doubt that would happen.
He said he's retired from all live stream.
Bullshit.
Panels.
He said he was going to not do this and then he does it.
That is also true. But he could be scared right now. Maybe he'll jump in. You'll never know.
Yeah. We can set it up.
Question. Hector had a question. He says, when you talk to his boys at NYC, there's an NYC lingo where we call each other a certain word. Is that racist? I think I know what he's talking about. Well, here we don't, I would say for a lot of the community here with other black people, I don't necessarily ever see anyone flip out when they see Puerto Rican person or
it's
Dominican
different.
person.
I think it's different.
So maybe different areas, but here, no, we don't necessarily, especially I know Fat Joe at one point talked about this and said how he feels like he's comfortable saying it, and no one ever messes with Fat Joe. I think it was funny. It wasn't a controversy, but it was like a news story when J-Lo had one song with Ja Rule, and she said it. She said nigga once in the video, and it was like, oh my god, I'm like, she is Puerto Rican. I mean, Africans came from here, went to the Caribbean islands, went to Spanish islands.
The lineage is there. It's different when it's somebody
Puerto Ricans are very, very dark skinned. I mean, I go by one of my favorite boxers of all time, Felix Trinidad.
Oh yeah.
If the man didn't speak, I thought he was just from a black guy.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So I think there's
and I'm like, oh shit.
You have to understand the history of the word and who used it on who, right? So that's where there's levels to it. It is what it is. I don't know, if
I'm really honest, I wish. First of all, the word is fun to say. I'm sorry, I know it doesn't, but it's weird. It is. But would it be nice if no one said it? So it won't be this weird double talk or apprehension. It would be ideal, but we don't live in an ideal world. So that's
not going to happen.
Where your favorite song, your white dude, your favorite rap song, and it's a few of those words in there.
Yeah.
You better be careful where you say it. But I'll say this right now: there's some concerts. You go to some outdoor concerts, some of these big concerts.
I'm sure.
Some of them, they get drunk, they drink enough, they're yelling the words out.
Oh, we're going to see it. We're going to see it at the concert we're going to go to in a couple of weeks. We'll probably see that there, right?
Will they do that in Brooklyn? Maybe.
You don't think?
I don't know. Wu-Tang in there? Maybe. I would say no. Okay. They'll do a look around. They're like, all right. Because it's not racist, but context. So I know they're saying a song with that word. I'm not going to flip out because they said that word. I understand nuance and context. But it's interesting when, the other guys that defended Eli, you defend that context. He literally said, I said it out of spite. He said it. He used that word. He used the N-word and then said, I'm doing it out of spite. He's to intentionally hurt this person.
Yes, he was using it in a venomous way. Like I think many in chat said he used the hard ER, right? I don't know for you if there's a difference or not, but for others there is. There's a little. I mean, so I just think, you know, at the end of the day, some people enjoy being the victim, and I think Eli fits that criteria. He likes it. He likes the trolls. If he goes live tomorrow and there's a few people watching him and everybody's just nice, well, he blocks everybody. But if there was no drama around him, he wouldn't know what to do. He would lose his identity. Right. And I think he would crumble because he likes that, because that's what he gets. And he's built that for himself. Yeah, you see, that it's his own fault. It's not, you have to take self stock of like where you're at. Right. And that's on him. So, yeah,
let's finish up the rest. It's not that long. But basically, he's trying to get everyone to like, hey, have you all been this kind of person and doing this thing? But let me finish up.
Right.
Because if you haven't, you're not human. Everyone's done it. Everyone has said something derogatory or uncalled for at one point in their life or another, right? So everyone is guilty of it, right? Does that mean we just hate everyone and we live in a hateful world, a world of hate? Or do we learn from our mistake and forgive, ask for forgiveness and receive forgiveness and move forward, right? Isn't forgiveness, isn't learning your lesson and forgiveness what it's all about? I've said words, but not in a hateful context. Well, well, Donnie, then you're a saint, brother. Then we're going to call you Saint Donnie from here on out, because you've never said anything hateful in your life.
He doesn't get it.
No,
he doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it.
The problem, reason why people have not forgotten it. First of all, he make it seem like he said these things 20 years ago. He's the man in his 50s. He said it in his late 40s and 50s. He make it seem like. So, okay, you still don't get it? You've been in this earth for decades. You still don't get that you shouldn't use those words, at least not in a live stream panel where it's recorded and you're getting triggered off of people talking. You see little boxes with people's voices coming out of it. Like, this is where you're losing your mind.
Yeah, like a little boxes. Yeah.
As a you are an older man. As if, like you said this when you were 17 years old. We're not saying this. We're not. If you said some dumb shit on Twitter when you were 17, I don't give a damn. People, they like to cancel certain athletes that said some goofy stuff when they're 17 years old, 15. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but, you're still learning, and you know. But
like, come on.
I just I got to be honest with you, bro. Listen. And I'm going to listen, somebody said in the chat he was bullied and stuff. And, bullying is a serious thing. Yeah, I wasn't really, there was a little bit of a time. I moved around a lot when we were growing up. And there was times where I was a new kid several times. And you get kids that test you and you feel like you're getting bullied. And you either got to stand up for yourself. So I've felt that. I've had that happen. But, it's not about what happens to you. It's how you react to it. And if you're being bullied, that sucks. It sucks. And there are kids that get bullied, it's not okay, right? So maybe that's where he has his victim mentality, right? It came from that. I can see that, right? And he wasn't strong enough to figure out how to fight for himself and stand up. And, not everybody is built that way, right? But yeah, it's just really hard for me to listen to him talk. And I don't know why. His voice and it feels like whiny. It's like his tongue is on the top of his roof of his mouth all the time.
I think it's a little bit of, it's probably a lisp or something like that.
It's probably and listen, if you got a lisp in the chat, it is what it is. If you're offended, I'm sorry, whatever. But I can't, to listen to him talk is like nauseating.
It's the words. It's mostly how he present himself.
It's just,
it's hard to kind of understand what he still doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. I'm sure he'll make another live tomorrow talking about this, and they keep attacking.
Yeah, and he's going to mention Madison again, and he'll say, "Why don't?" And he's going to, because that's what men do. Weak men talk about women, that aren't involved in this. I'm talking directly about this gentleman. Right. There's a big difference.